Later is not going to be better. How many times have you uttered, oh, I'll do it later today. I'll do it in a couple of hours. I'll do it tomorrow, Monday, next week, next month, next year. Insert time frame of at some point later when it's more convenient. But we place this arbitrary notion that somehow later will just make it better, make it easier, make it simpler, make it, I don't know, more enjoyable, have more energy, have less going on. Insert whatever reason you may have as to why, well, later will be better. And the honest to God truth is, well, more often than not, it'll be worse. And I'll use today as an example. You know, I had a lot going on today. I needed to race home. And so I didn't film this video. I didn't. I was like, I will do it tonight. Tonight will be better. Tonight will be easier. I'll have more time because I won't need to be anywhere. I'll just get to it then. And shockingly, now I have lots of things to do. Now I need to head home to get all those things sorted. Now I need to go straight home. Oh, I'm tired now. I'm actually knackered. And I didn't want to do it. I didn't feel like my brain would be at its highest level to deliver this work. But it's like we've said many times before, the work is the work. And it doesn't give a shit about your feelings. It doesn't give a shit about how you feel, what would be nice, what would work better, or any of these things. The only thing that matters is that the work needs to get done. That's it. That's the end of the story. And yet, every time we do it, every time we think about it, we're like, yeah, later will be easier. Like, let's use workouts as an example. How many times have you said, not today? Insert plethora of excuses as to why right this second, right now, is not the right moment for you to do it. And yet when you get to later, more excuses have arisen. That's why, like, you can talk about any of the options, you know, eat the frog, start with the hardest thing, you know, all those kinds of things. Your best option is always just to get in and do it. I find this even with my gym. More often than not, my afternoon sessions have more cancellations. Why? Because fucking life happens. And people will let those excuses build up into a meaning. That's why I always think you should work out first thing in the morning. Not because there is any other like great benefit. And I've heard people talk about, you know, benefits of morning versus afternoon versus night. Look, bar it being within an hour or so of bed, I think the benefits are negligible to what you're going to gain from morning versus evening versus any of those kinds of things. I recommend doing it first thing in the morning for the simple reason of there is much less to get in your way. There is less opportunity for you to fuck it up, for you to find a reason as to why you shouldn't do it. That's why I think you should get up early and do it. And look, there are circumstantial things. As a general rule, I don't actually care when you get your workouts in. And I've said this to my guys when I'm talking to them. I'm like, they're like, when should I work out? I was like, whenever you can do it. But this is the lesson that I teach them. I think the best time is when you have the least opportunity to avoid it. So first thing in the morning, you set out your clothes, you set the alarm, you set everything up, you attach it to the back end of some habit you've already got. Usually I find that for most people that's having a cup of coffee. And you can use things like the 3-second countdown, 3, 2, 1, go, jump out of bed, chuck on your clothes, grab your bag, head out the door. Remove as many steps as possible between you and getting that done. I think that is the best way to do it, because then there are less opportunities to do it. The other option is, and this is harder overall, but harder initially, but easier overall, is to build a really, really consistent routine. But again, that's not necessarily easy for everyone. So that's why I find if you do it first thing in the morning, before the family gets up, before everybody else is awake, before there is opportunities for something to derail you, I think that's the best option. Now, I always put caveats on this, because maybe you have children like I have children. 5:30 for my kids is sleeping. Usually we're sending them back to bed because they've gotten up too early. That's the type of kids I have. I don't have these kids that are sleeping till 7, 8, 9. I don't know what the hell you're doing to your children that they're doing that, but that's a different conversation altogether. But being able to work out first thing on my own is not going to happen. But I have ingrained it into me, so I don't have to battle against these. And yet, there are still days where I'm like, I don't feel like it. And you have to get to the point where you aren't kicking it down the line, or if you are, you make damn sure that you execute at a higher level. And even then, I'm not certain that it's worth it. Because what you need to keep in mind is that every time you make a choice, every time you make a decision, you are training your brain. The brain doesn't know that there are good, bad, and otherwise. The brain just goes, these are reps. So you kick it down the line, it goes, okay, we kick it down the line. You go, I don't feel like it right now, I'm going to do it later. It goes, okay, when we don't feel like it, we don't do it. You are putting in reps. It's why one of the reasons that when you want to change and break negative habits, it's such a nightmare. It takes so much effort, it takes so long, because your brain has all these reps and it has these triggers, and you are probably not even aware of most of them, that go, hey, you decided you were tired and you didn't do the workout. That means we don't do the workout. Because that's what you've ingrained in your brain. And you're now trying to turn around and go, I don't feel like it, I'm going to do it anyway. The brain's like, no, hang on a sec. This is not what we do. This is not how we do it. And it's why you have to become so unbelievably consistent with the choices you make. Because every rep is building a new neuro pathway towards that version of you. So you can either build towards the man that you want to be, or you can build and continue to define yourself as the version you are. It's why when I talk about 126 days, people freak out. They're like, that is too long. And I'm like, this is what is required for you to replace those negative habits with new positive habits. You need to rewire your brain and rewire your brain and rewire your brain just over and over and over. You are rewriting the copy over and over and over and over again. And it's so difficult and it takes so long because, well, A, we're drawn to comfort, and B, how many years have you been making these choices? People are like, why does it take this long? I was like, did you wake up like this from one day? Did you have one pizza and one bottle of wine and suddenly you're a fat fuck? No? Okay, so maybe it's going to take a little bit of time to get this sorted. Maybe it's going to take a little bit of effort to get you past this hump. Maybe, just maybe, you're going to have to invest a bit of time into becoming a better version of yourself. And yet people want to balk at this concept. They don't want to talk about this. They're like, oh, why can't I just do a 30-day program and then revert back? Because you've done that already. You keep kicking it down the line. You keep kicking it to later that you'll solve this problem. You're going to put this little Band-Aid on it and go, that's enough. That'll fix it. You lost an arm. Chucking a Band-Aid on it is not going to fix it. You have to take serious action. Action that's going to be uncomfortable. Action that you are not going to enjoy. And that's just the reality of the situation. And until you can wrap your head around this being the reality, and then you consistently, with no exceptions, with no days off, with no missteps or backsteps or, I'm just going to do this today, you do it for 126 days. And here's the real harsh part, and the part that people don't like. It's not just doing it for 126 days. It's doing it for 126 days with no mistakes, no fuck-ups, no missteps, just you doing the work every single day. Because we are rewiring your brain to become a different animal. It's not going to happen in the snap of fingers. It's not going to happen overnight. And remember, each time that you don't follow through on that, you are teaching your brain that this is who you are. So if you get to day 125 and you mess up and you skip the workout or you skip the weighted walk or you go, what difference will it make? It makes all the difference in the world. And you start again. Demanding greatness isn't for everyone. Hell, it isn't for most people. It is meant for the people who actually are sick of being that guy, are sick of settling, are sick of constantly showing up that way and want to do better. It is going to require more than you want to give. It is going to require more effort and more commitment than you feel like. And that's okay. But it's like being an addict. You're an addict to the old version of you. And we need to take this one day at a time. We cannot guarantee that you will never backslide, but what we can guarantee is today, right here, right now, you being the greatest version of yourself. That, my friend, we can guarantee. That, my friend, we can do. And it will require commitment. It will require effort. It will require you doing more work, more consistently than you want to. As I said, it's every single day. No days off, no exceptions. Just you and the work every day. Eradicating that old version of you. And you need to get comfortable with that fact, with that terminology. You are eradicating him. You are wiping him out. He is going to cease to exist. Not only is that necessary, it's what you want. It is what is required. That you remove all the programming, all those habits, all that wiring that has led you to this life. Because if you don't look at the man in the mirror and go, fuck yes, I love who I am, well, this is your wake-up call that you need to live a different life, and that is going to require you doing different things. It's going to require you showing up as a different man. It's going to require a whole new version of yourself. And it's gonna be uncomfortable. It's gonna feel weird. There are going to be many days where you don't want to do it. That is okay. The not wanting to do it, the not wanting to follow through, on the days that you don't feel like it, that is acceptable. What is not acceptable is giving into that feeling. You must override it and go, no, that is not who I am anymore. Until you get the new triggers, until you rebuild those triggers that push you into being the greatest version of yourself. Today, I worked out at my normal 8 a.m. and it was shit. It was dog shit. It was one of the worst workouts I've done in a long time. I was distracted. I wasn't there, And again, I could throw out every excuse, but I kind of plodded through the workout. You know what I did? After I finished my sessions with my clients, I went back and did it again properly. Not because that's a great physiological choice. That was probably too much load. That was probably too much loading. But because of who I am and who it needs to be wired into my brain. Because I tried to kick it down the road. I tried to push it to later, that it would be okay, that it would be fine, that workout would be acceptable. It is not. So I had to check the wiring. I had to check that I was willing to follow through no matter the choices. And that's what I did. And that's where it counts. And that is where you get the best results. The biggest breakthrough comes from the times when you could have let it all slip and you choose not to. So if you're ready to become the greatest version of yourself, if you're ready to step out of that, if you're ready to commit to something that is deeply uncomfortable, but at the end of it is going to completely transform who you are as a man. Comment demanding greatness, and let's see who you can be from the other side. Until then.